it looks like we are live. So today is Sunday, so guess what that means? It's time for Learning with Lynn. So I'm Lynn Huber.
And I'm Richard.
And this is Richard. I want to thank you guys for being here today. If you're here, say hi. If you're watching the replay, be sure to type replay so we know you were here. And let me move some things around here and share my screen. There you go. Okay, so now you should be able to see my screen. And let's see, is anybody here? Oh, it looks like there's some people watching. Okay, so this is my blog, onlinebeautybiz.com. And if you're and this is for my training for my team, but it's also training for any Avon representative. Anybody who needs help, you can find help here. And if you're just getting started, click on Getting Started up here in the top. You're going to find everything in here from how do I get paid to how do I find a customer order to how much do I make. All of it's in there, right? And everything to help you get started, how to share your digital brochure. It's all there. And if you are looking at this, you have, this is the, hi Karen, good to see you. This is the main part of the blog right here where it says welcome to my blog. And then over here, this is the sidebar. It says sign up today to receive our newsletter. And so if you're not already receiving emails from me, you can sign up here. And then underneath that is a search. So if you're looking for something, hi Cheryl, good to see you. If you're looking for something, you don't know how to do something, you can search for it here. And then, or you can look in the categories. So anything that's tagged with fundraising or anything that's tagged with Facebook parties or you know, leadership, you'll find them in the categories. So if you're on your computer, it will look just like this. You have the main part of the screen and you have the sidebar. If you're on your phone, you just have this main part and then the sidebar gets moved to the bottom. So it goes down about 6 posts and then you'll see that sign up for the newsletter and the search and everything at the bottom. There's about 6 posts. So that's, this is my website. Everybody is welcome to use this. We don't recruit or anything from here. This is just training, okay? So today we're going to talk about overcoming your fear of prospecting. So you guys, who's afraid of prospecting? What are you afraid of? While I go through this first little bit, why don't you go ahead and type in the comments what scares you about prospecting, and we'll try to touch on that. Okay? So you know, I mean, if you think you're the only one that's afraid of prospecting, you'd be wrong. Trust me. I mean, they say that the 2 most dreaded things in life are public speaking and taxes. But I'd say there's probably a third, and that's having to prospect. And you know what? It's okay if you feel that way, because every one of us have felt that way at one time or another. I did too in the beginning, and sometimes I still struggle. I mean, you know, it depends too on how confident I'm feeling that day, or you know, different things, right? But almost every single Avon representative has struggled with it, at least in the beginning, right? And if you want to be successful, you're going to have to find a way to get around it, though. So we're going to talk about that. But first, let's talk about growing your Avon business just in general. So, you know, in order to grow your Avon business, it's actually pretty simple. It's not easy per se because you have to do the work, but it's simple. It's just 4 steps. So number 1, prospect for new customers and recruits. Number 2, get a brochure to every customer, every campaign. Number 3, follow up with every customer you gave a brochure to every campaign before you place your order. And number 4, take the order, submit it to Avon, deliver to your customer, or they go to your online store and Avon delivers to them. And then it's just rinse and repeat. And you just go through those 4 steps. And so if you're brand new, and on step number 1, what we ask you to do is build a list of everyone you know. And you want to try to really get everybody out of your head and go through your phone and go through your Christmas list, go through everything. And every single person you can think of, add them to your list. No one's going to see that list but you. And it's just something that you can work from. And all of us should have a list. It's like a living, breathing document. I mean, I've been doing Avon for 20 years and I still work a list. So, you know, because you're always adding people to it, you're always taking people off. But let's say if you're brand new, your prospecting right now is going to be you working through your list. So maybe you might make a goal to call or text or email 3 people a day on your list. And so you're going to text them and say, hey, you know, guess what? I just started selling Avon. I'm really excited. Would you be interested in seeing a brochure? And if they say yes, then you can count that as a prospect. And we'll get to that in a minute. But you get points for doing this. And if they say yes, you're going to add them to your follow. You're going to get them a brochure, and you're going to do all these things, and you're going to add them to your follow-up. If they say no, it's not the end of the world. Don't let it hurt your feelings. It just is they don't want a brochure. They're not interested. Doesn't mean they're not interested in being your friend. Doesn't mean that they're still not your sister-in-law or your mother or whoever they are. Nothing changed. They're just not interested in Avon, and that's cool. Because if you have 200 people on your list, it's easier to bless them and say, okay, awesome. How's Tom doing? And just transition to something else, and you're not hanging up on whether they say yes or no, right? You're just working through your list. And then, so now once you've added, and if you're not brand new, then you need to be prospecting. You need to get out there and you need to meet people, whether that's on Facebook, whether that's on different kinds of ways of prospecting, or whether you go out and about and you meet people as you go out through your day. The Avon just had that In Focus training this last week, and I think it was the 25th or something. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't watch that, you need to go back and watch the replay. It's in Avon U, and there was like 4 or 5 different reps on there, top recruiters that talked about how they prospect. And there's enough information in there for everybody. I mean, there was so many golden nuggets in there. So if you didn't watch that, go back and watch it, because there's lots of different ways to prospect. Hi, Lana, good to see you. So, hi, Kathleen. So you need to find new people, because you always need to be adding people to your list. Okay. So now you've prospected. That's number 1. Now you're going to get a brochure. Now, whether that's paper or digital, that's up to you, but you're going to make sure that every customer and every prospect gets one every campaign. If you asked them in step number 1 if they were interested in receiving brochures and they say yes, then your job is to get them one every campaign. It's not your job to get in your head and say, oh man, I've given them 3 brochures and they haven't ordered. I don't want to be a bug. That's not your job. Your job is you told them you would get them a brochure. Period. End of story. It's not your job to go back and second guess yourself or play mind games with yourself. You just do it. Your job is to get a brochure to them, whether it's physical, a paper brochure, or a digital brochure. You're going to do that every customer, every campaign. And then you're going to follow up with every customer you gave a brochure to, every campaign. That, again, that's part of your job. Your job is not to get in the head games. It's not to second guess yourself or, oh man, I don't want to be a bug, or trust me, they are busy, and they're going to appreciate the fact that you just sent them a quick text reminder and said, hey, my order's going in. If there's anything you want, let me know by whatever. They're going to appreciate that. It's just a reminder. I'm not saying that you should harass them or beg them to order or anything else. It's just a reminder, right? Hey, my order's going in if there's anything you want. And, a lot of us place our orders once every 2 weeks for our order that we place. And for me, it takes a full week to get here from Avon, 8 days actually for it to get here. I place my order on Wednesday, and I can't promise delivery until the next Friday. So, that's because that's how long it takes. So if I don't let my customers know when the order's going in, I don't do that reminder, I feel really bad when they call me like the day after my order was placed, and now they have to wait almost a month to get it. Can you see how that's just good customer service? It's up to them if they want to order. Your job is just to remind them every campaign, right? And then you're just going to take the order, submit it to Avon, deliver, all of that, right? Or online orders. We love online orders. We always love online orders, right? And it's just those 4 steps over and over again. Every campaign, you're going to look for new people. You're going to get a brochure to them. You're going to follow up, and you're going to place the order or send them to your website. It's just that simple. And so we have a daily 8 system that we use, that we teach, to help you to be consistent, because bottom line is it's all about consistency. It's about doing those 4 things every single campaign, over and over and over and over again. And so it says right here, print this sheet and use it to track your points. And I already printed it. It's right here. I already downloaded it. And it's like 9 pages, and you might want to print 1 copy of it, but then you want to print, a bunch of copies of the second page, because the second page is where you're going to track your points. And the idea behind this is, instead of working 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 40 hours a week to earn income, we're teaching you how to earn 8 points a day, 5 days a week, for a total of 40 points a week. So it's just really simple. Put your week of, so that'd be today's date or tomorrow's date. What days of the week are you going to work? That's up to you. It's your business. You're going to work Monday through Friday. Maybe the weekends are better for you. So maybe you're going to work Wednesday Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or, maybe you're going to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe Monday night. I don't know. You're going to find what works for you, though. And then you're going to put those dates up there, and you're going to go down and you're going to give yourself points. So the first one, prospecting for customers. And then the next one is prospecting for team members. They're really one and the same, prospecting, but I'm giving you points. I'm just spelling it out, right? So if you're brand new and you're working through your list and you just called your aunt and you said, hey, Aunt Mary, I'm now selling Avon. Would you like a brochure? And she says yes, then give yourself a point for that. If she says no, then you need to keep prospecting. Go to the next person on your list, right? So you get a point for every yes. But the idea is then, maybe you make a goal to get 3 of those a day or whatever that is, right? And the same thing for team members. You want to always be prospecting for both customers and team members. Offer the opportunity to everybody, because trust me, you're going to feel really bad when your best friend shows up on stage at RepFest because they're top seller and I recruited them because you didn't. Trust me, you got to at least offer it. Hey, I have the ability to help you make some money. Are you interested? If they're not, hey, no problem. We love customers. We always love customers, right? And then the next one is follow up with your potential customers 2 to 3 days after meeting them. That's, hey, I met you at Walmart and I gave you a digital brochure. I texted you my brochure. Just checking to see if there's anything I can help you with, right? Or, hey, I gave you a brochure, just checking to see if there's anything I can help you with. And now as you've got these names, you put them into your follow-up system. So now you're going to get a brochure to every customer, every campaign. You're going to do the follow-up, texts, calls, emails, whatever it is you do, every campaign. And then you're going to place your order at Avon, sort and deliver your order. So you get points for all of these things. Passive prospecting. Okay, so this sort and order and deliver your customers' orders. From that up, those would be the most important. So that's probably like the top half of this would be the most important if you're looking to grow a business. The bottom half is still very important, but it's passive. There's a difference between active and passive. So active is you're actively talking to somebody, you're following up with them. Passive prospecting is maybe you're putting brochures out door to door, or you're posting on social media. You're putting it out there, but you didn't get a name, you didn't get information to follow up. So it's passive. You're hoping they'll call you. So I'm giving you like a point for doing the whole activity rather than one for each name. And the same thing with posting on social media. For, if you schedule an hour to go and post on social media, you get 1 point for that. You can kind of, this is your business. How you give yourself points is totally up to you. So if you're spending a lot of time doing these things, like for instance, get a brochure to every customer, I give you 1 point because if you're using our system and you're using Campaign Mailer, it takes you 1 minute, right? The follow-up text, if you're using Project Broadcast or our system, takes you 1 minute to do them. If you're literally texting 100 people, give yourself more points. Give yourself a point for every hour, or I don't know, a point for every 10 names, or whatever it is that you're doing. So it's up to you. It's your business, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say, prospecting is really important because without the person or the name, you're dead in the water. You have nobody to talk to. But the follow-up is probably more important. If you get a whole list, you have 100 people on a list and you don't follow up, you're going to have 0 orders. Yeah. It's just that simple. It's almost like these points are worth more than these up here getting a customer.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And that's why this passive prospecting, it's still good because you're still putting the word out. But again, you're not doing any follow-up. So you're not getting, it's not likely you're going to get the orders. Back in the day when Richard and I were in California, when we had a big business, we were selling about 6,000 a campaign. We were selling over 100,000 a year. And we did our follow-up. Back then we did calls. They were like,
we had Voice
Shot was the company that we used. I don't even think they're around anymore. But it was a call. I would record a message and I would call them. Back then, this is 15 years ago, not everybody had cell phones.
Yeah,
very few people had cell phones.
All landline.
Yeah. And so we would do these calls. And so on Friday, my order actually went in on Wednesday. No, yeah.
Yes.
It went in on Wednesday by noon. So on Friday, I used to do them over the weekend, and then we learned that what happened was the kid would answer the phone or the husband, and by the time the wife got to the phone, they never heard the message because, you know, it's a recording, it just plays. So we learned that if we do it on Friday during the day, it's more likely to end up on voicemail or that the mother would be home or whatever. It's just more likely. So on Friday morning, when I would do it like at 10 a.m. and I would send out my reminder calls, and I might have maybe $100, $200, $300 in orders at that point. And then my voice shot would go out, and by Monday or Tuesday, I would have $5,000 or $6,000 in orders. That's what the difference is. That's what making those follow-up calls does. If I did not make those follow-up calls, I might have ended up with $500. It's just such a huge difference, you guys. This is so critical. Reminders are critical. So anyway, all of these things, you can give yourself points for all of these things, okay? So we go through it every week, so I'm not going to go into great detail, but so you can click here to download it. If you want to be part of our Daily 8 Challenge, we support you, whether you're on our team or not. I want to support you. I want to be here to cheer you on, or maybe to give you advice if you need it, or maybe if you're struggling, I'm here. And so, or if you did something really good, I might call you out. I might call you out in our Facebook group on Online Beauty Biz and say, hey, you know, Maria did such an amazing thing. Look at what she did, right? And so all I need you to do is just fill this out. Your name, right? What campaign this is. How many points did you earn? What were your wins this week? What did you accomplish or do well or really proud of? Or what did you not do so well? And how can you do better next time? And then do you have any tips to grow your business during the social distancing time? Because that's always good for everybody. You might know something I don't, right? But all I really care about is you took the time to fill this out. How many points did you earn? And when you're talking about what were your wins or what did you not do so well, I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to say you did good or you didn't do good, or you're not working your business right or you are. That's not my job. Your job is to do that, right? And so by filling this out, just taking the minute that it takes to say what did you do well actually tells you in your own mind, you've already went, oh, that worked really well. I have to try that again. Or if you did something not so well, I have a team member, I'm not going to call her out, but she recently just said to me, I talked too much when I was trying to recruit somebody. So she figured that out herself, right? She wrote it on here. What did you not do so well? She figured it out herself. So now she knows next time she talks to somebody, she's going to not talk so much. So it's just, this is for you more than me, but you're giving it to me so I can support you and so that we can cheer you on. So that's this form. And then be sure to be a part of our Online Beauty Biz Facebook group, which is our Online Beauty Biz Facebook group, right? And by the way, right here, oh my God, best recruiting webinar ever. Yeah. This is the In Focus one that if you haven't seen it, you need to. You guys, you need to.
It's gold.
It is gold. Okay, so let's get back to prospecting. So it looks like you guys are all experts at prospecting. Nobody has any fears. Okay, so hey, you know what? It's a rare person who wakes up in the morning and is excited to go out prospecting, right? It's even rarer to find a person who enjoys doing it day after day after day. You know, the average person would call that insanity, right? But if you want to build a really big business, that's exactly what you have to do. You have to learn how to prospect, and you have to learn whether it's for customers or recruits. Doesn't matter. Prospecting is vital to your business because it's always in the new. It's always in the new. You're going to have top customers are going to disappear. Yeah, I have a customer that ordered, over $100 a campaign, every campaign, and she hasn't ordered a penny since COVID hit. You know, I mean, you're going to have customers that go away, and you're going to have, but you're always bringing in new customers, and it's always in the new. And if you want to grow, you always need to be adding customers so you can grow, right? And so you need to be prospecting. But one of the things in my experience, it seems that the fear of prospecting comes down to one thing. It's your mental outlook on how you respond to rejection and maybe your sense of not making progress. And so this is something that every one of us has to deal with when we're growing our Avon business. And some of us have been around long enough that we've gotten better at it. And I know some of you have been around long enough that you're probably doing pretty good with it, right? And some of you might be struggling, especially if you're new, because you haven't done it before. So Kathy says, When I go to events, I have no problem asking people to sign in, ask if they want emails, etc. They sign up, but asking them if they want to join me is another thing. Well, Kathy, if you're having them fill out the form,
yes,
I hope you have a question on your form asking them if they would be interested in learning more about selling Avon.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you don't physically ask them, if they, at least on the form, it puts that in their mind and they might say yes. And then, of course, you need to follow up with it. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's great. Do they want emails? Do they want brochures? But make sure you have that question about, in fact, I think I have that. I have that open. No, I know.
Yeah.
I have it open, actually. This is my drawing form. And I have them fill this out, and then I have them, please send me an Avon catalog, physical in the mail, digital email, digital text. So they choose how they want it, and I give it to them the way they want it. And then I would like more information about selling Avon. What I have found, I use these even if I'm out in the grocery store. I try to have them with me. These are, you cut them in quarters. I try to have them with me. And so if somebody's filling this out while they're filling it out and I'm waiting for them to write all that, I might ask them, have you ever thought about selling Avon? And try to get a conversation started. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself, so we'll come back to that, okay? She says, I do have them fill out a form. I don't even use that form. I will from now on. Or you can use your own form, but just make sure you ask them if they would be interested in learning more about making some extra money with Avon. So, and in fact, if you, in the In Focus training that was last Wednesday, crap, what was her name? One of the presenters actually talked about that and the exact wording to use. So you might be sure to get on that. Be sure to watch that training. So, I used to be in that same boat, right? In the beginning, I wasn't only afraid to pick up the phone. I was nervous about responding to messages. Sometimes if I got an email, I was afraid to open it. I didn't know what they were emailing me about, right? I mean, and the reason that I was so always scared is because you're always thinking about the worst possible outcome, right? I mean, excuse me, the worst possible outcome? I mean, seriously, in all that time, I was never in harm's way. I was never about to be ripped apart by ravaging lions, and I wasn't at risk of starving to death. But yet, for some reason, we all seem to think that the worst thing might happen. But seriously, what's the worst thing that could happen? Seriously. I mean, they might say no, or maybe they might think badly of us, or they might laugh. One of my friends, Jackie, she talks about a story about, it wasn't Avon, it was a different company. It was a candle company, actually. And she went to her neighbor and talked to her about the candles. And her neighbor literally threw back her head and just laughed. I mean, just laughed.
Cackled.
And said, oh, you got sucked into one of those deals. And Jackie was just like, she said she wanted the floor to open up, and suck her down. She said, but bottom line is, after she got out of that situation and everything, she went back home and she probably licked her wounds a little bit, But bottom line is, at the end of the day, she said, no, I'm going to show her. I will show her just how successful I can be with this. And so sometimes that's what you need, right? But bottom line is, even if they do laugh at us, if they laughed at us, are they really seriously worth your time? Because if they think so little of you that they're going to treat you that way, do you want them to be your friend? Because, seriously. I mean, so let that fear go. Let's see.
Kathy says thanks.
Kathy says thanks. Yeah. And then Maria says, I got one person to join me after I asked him if he thought about Avon as an income since he's restricted about what he can do after having surgery. So that's great, Maria, because we have so much to offer right now with the pathway to Premier and the $3,000 they can make and the $322 worth of free products or whatever it is with the Dr. Belmer and the $10 coupon and the 135 lip balms. I mean, this is a great. This is a great time to invite that. Kathy says, oh, the cackling would be hard. And some people just don't like the idea of sales, and I would never act like that to someone. You are so right. We don't need them in our circle. Exactly. If they're going to treat you that way, I would seriously reconsider having them in your circle. And if there's somebody that has to be, maybe their family or something, then limit your time with them because they're not good for you, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't go laughing at everybody about what they do for a living. So the thing is, though, is prospecting is merely an activity. It's no different than getting in your car or taking a shower. It's just an activity. It's the first step that will prepare you for the next step. Prospecting is actually kind of a mind game, and it's not a mind game in your other person's mind. It's in your own mind, right? When we change our mindset towards prospecting, we can change the results we get from it. And it is absolutely true that if you think people will laugh at you, they probably will. If you think people will say no, they probably will. It's in your own mind. You attract it. And so when we change our mindsets, we change the results we get. And so Kathy says, so now that Avon's doing these online events where we bring people to it, great opportunity. Exactly. Oh, wasn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm.
That I just thought, shit. What was her name?
Adriana.
I'm sorry, I've got brain farts tonight. Adriana did an amazing job with that. And you can invite people. How cool is that? So let's talk about what are we really afraid of, right? So actually, it's probably not really prospecting that we're afraid of. We're probably afraid of other things. So first off, maybe we're afraid of looking stupid. I think we all, at some point or another, are afraid of that, ultimately, because it comes down to self-esteem, right? So maybe you're afraid that you're doing it wrong and you're making mistakes. And you know what you need to do. You already know that. You need to talk to everyone you meet, offer them a brochure, and get their contact information. And so I use those drawing forms for that. That's this one. And right here, you can download it. Right here, just click on that and you can download it. But this for me works really well. You know what? It doesn't have to be, though. I mean, I'll say something like, hey, I mail my brochures. Would you like to get on my mailing list? If they were excited to get a brochure, more than likely they're like, yeah, and they'll fill it out. If they took the brochure because they were afraid to say no to me, then more than likely they're going to hem and haw, and they're going to look at the back and they're going to go, is that your number there? And you know what? Then I go, yeah, that's my number. Just give me a call if you want anything. I don't push it. I do offer them the form. I say, hey, give me your information and I'll get you on my mailing list, right? But that's a way to do it, right? And it works for me. And the reason I like it is because it has that little blurb about selling Avon on there. So it helps me to bring up that subject too, right? But another thing you can do is you can put a Post-it note, just a regular old Post-it note on the brochure. Just stick them on the front of your brochures. And then when you give out a brochure, say, put your name and number there and I'll give you a quick text before I place my order. And if you say it that way, first off, you're confident that they're going to give you the information. And if you are confident, they will. But also, when you say, I'll give you a quick text, it's not so threatening. Because you know what? We all have phones, but it's really funny. Most everybody's afraid of you calling them. Because they're worried about somebody from India worrying about their car. What is that? The car warranty, right? But they don't want to be telephone solicited. They don't want to be called, right? And so if you just say, I'll give you a quick text before I place my order, it takes the pressure off and it's not intimidating. And so they'll go, yeah, sure, here's my number, right? Or you could say, hey, I'm an Avon rep and Avon has this really cool digital catalog. You can browse it right on your phone. Can I send you a link? And then you get their contact information and you text the link to them. Now you have their contact information. So these things are easy to do and they don't require a lot of training. So it's not that you don't know what to do. You know what to do, right? You just talk to them and you get their contact information. So those are easy. So what I'm guessing that you're lacking is confidence, right? That's going to come from experience. Unfortunately, you have to be really bad at something before you can be good at it. And that goes for every one of us. And that doesn't matter if you're learning to tie your shoes, if you're learning to walk, if you're learning to use the potty, if you're learning to shorthand. Those of you that are old like me would remember learning shorthand or learning a language. You have to be bad at something before you can be good at it, right? And making mistakes is part of the process. Everyone does it, even the best. I don't care who you are. Nobody gets past without making mistakes. You can't do something really well until you've made the mistakes and learned from them. And that's part of why I ask you on the forum, what did you do really well? What did you not do so well? Because just by filling out that form, you've already learned. You've already went, well, that didn't work very well. And you've already, in your own mind, figured out how you're going to change that for next time. So you have to expect to make some mistakes, right? That's nothing to fear. So learn from those mistakes and use them to make you better. Just use the mistakes as that is part of your learning curve, right? Perfection is not your goal. Action, learning, and progress are your goals. Kathy says, I did shorthand. Loved it. I did too, and I studied it, and my big goals in life when I was back then in high school was to be a secretary. I could be a secretary when I grow up. And I learned all this shorthand, and I never found a job where I needed it. So anyway, but perfection is not the goal. Action, learning, and progress are the goals. So I'm going to tell you one more story about that. We don't do opportunity meetings as much in Avon. I've been with Avon 20 years, and Richard and I have tried everything for recruiting, and we've done opportunity meetings. But there are other companies where the opportunity meeting is a big part of it. You bring people in, they have 3 or 4 people talk like for a whole hour. You've got these people there, and you're talking about the opportunity, right? And one of the things that I've learned in that process is that you standing up there and telling an amazing story about selling Avon and how much money they can make and how it's a great opportunity, if you're really good at it, people won't join. Whereas if you're up there and you look like an idiot and you look like you don't know what you're talking about, people will join like crazy because they're thinking in their own mind, I can't do that. Or if you're up there looking like what they think is an idiot, they're like, oh, I could do better than her. So, you don't want, perfection is not the goal, you guys. We're building a business. This is not an ego thing. We are building a business. If you're looking to build a business, if you're looking to build a big Avon business, you have to let go of perfection. Instead, you want to focus on doing the things that it takes to be successful and taking action and learning and making progress. Those are the things that's going to help you be successful, not perfection. Okay, so then expect to hear no. And that's okay, right? Just like in any business or any type of marketing or advertising or sales, most people are going to say no. Most people are going to say no. And that's perfectly okay. If you know that going into it, it makes it a lot easier because you're expecting it, right? So no can be a good thing because the more of them you hear, the closer you get to a yes, right? So the more no's you hear, the more you're like going, okay, well, I've had a lot of no's, so I'm going to get a yes here now pretty quick. Right? And if you approach your prospecting understanding that most people are going to tell you no thanks, that's going to eliminate most of your fear. I mean, if you're a waitress and you're working in a breakfast diner and you're walking around with a pot of coffee and you're walking around, would you like a refill? Would you like a refill? And if they say no, are you going to run in the bathroom and cry because your feelings are hurt? They're not rejecting you. They're rejecting the coffee. And it's the same thing with Avon. They're not rejecting you. They're rejecting Avon. And maybe they have their own ideas about Avon, or maybe they have their own ideas or even fears about sales. Maybe they're just not something they'd be interested in. That doesn't mean that what you're doing is wrong or anything else. It just means you're taking the action and you're doing the steps to grow your business. So Karen says, I'm good customer service. I'm not sure what she was talking. Oh, yeah. Probably just
the thing that's
taking
important.
the actions, right?
Action and good service.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so let's look at some ways to change your mindset around prospecting. So we all get scared at one time or another. I mean, sometimes I still get nervous when I need to talk to someone. I will tell you, I am naturally introverted. Richard is Mr. Extrovert. And that doesn't mean that I can't be good at prospecting. I'm actually really good at it. But the difference is, if I just go to the grocery store and I'm there to do my shopping and I'm not thinking about Avon, I don't talk to anybody. I won't even talk to the cashier. It'd be like, here's my debit card, right? Or here's my credit card or whatever. I'm not chatty. I don't talk to people, right? Whereas Richard would be like, hi, it's a beautiful day. Oh, look at you. I love your hair. Oh, blah, blah. And he's just all Mr. Bubbly. That's Richard, right? That's naturally who we are. And it's really funny because I'm the better prospector because Richard is afraid to ask them if they want to sell Avon.
I'm too busy talking.
But here's the difference. Being an introvert, and you have to know this. You just have to know this. So if you are introverted, then maybe it's a good thing that I'm telling you this. But if you're introverted, the difference is you have to turn yourself on. So I leave the house saying, I'm going to get 3 names today before I come home. I'm on. And then I go into the store and I'm actually focused on accomplishing what I'm supposed to accomplish. So I'm talking to somebody, I'm making small talk with them, I'm doing what I need to do, and I'm on. And then I go home and I hide away in my office for a while and de-stress. But that's the difference. Or if I go to an event, right? Kathy says she's good at events, right? Well, me too. We do breast cancer events and I'm good at those events, but that's because I'm on, because I've turned myself on. I've opened the door and said, I'm going to work, right? And then if I'm just grocery shopping and I'm not thinking about, although you should be thinking about it all the time, but I'm not. I'm going to be honest. I'm not thinking about it all the time. Sometimes I'm just thinking about getting my groceries and getting out of there, right? But so that's the difference. And so sometimes it's just a matter of just flipping the switch and saying, okay, I'm a little shy. Yeah, I'm a little quiet, but right now I'm working. And so I'm going to be working, right? I do know that if you're in a job, I was a buyer for many years. I had to negotiate. I had to negotiate prices. I had to negotiate terms. And that, for me, as a person, is really, really hard. But as a buyer, I didn't have a choice. I had to do it. Mm-hmm. And so when I was at work, I could do it for the job, but it's hard for me to do it for myself. If I'm trying to negotiate a sale of a car or a house or whatever, I'm the wrong person to be doing that. So,
right on,
Kathy says, I have to remember to turn myself off. Yeah. That's Richard. Yeah. Probably too much other talk. I'm like Richard. Yeah. Well, and that makes us a good team because Richard goes in and he's blah, 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 blah. And that kind of pulls me out of my shell. And so then I close it. So it kind of works, I guess. It works.
Good cop, bad cop.
We're a good team. Okay. So let's look at some ideas, right? So write out all the benefits you have to offer with your Avon business, whether it's recruiting or whether it's sales, whether it's getting a customer or whether it's getting a prospect, right? Make a list of all the benefits of joining Avon, right? Make the list as long as you can and keep it next to your phone or in your car or in your wallet or wherever so that it's there to remind you why you do what you do, right? So Avon has so many products that make a difference for people. What are your favorite products? That's a perfect place to start. I bet Kathy has no problem talking about her favorite products because she's probably just blah, 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 right? So's Richard, right? Because you're not, it's different. You're not like trying to sell. You're not saying, buy this. Instead, you're saying, this is why I love it. Gosh, I love what it does. And you're just talking, right? And so that's a great place to start. Talk about what you love about them, why you love them, how those products make a difference in your life or in your family. Well, the same thing is true with the Avon opportunity. What has your Avon business done for you? I mean, I have a hell of a story. And I have that story because of all the work we did for 20 years. But our story is that we were able to pay off all of our bills and leave our jobs and become debt-free and not have to work anymore. And that's our story. So Avon has gotten me out of having to work a job. I work for myself. We decide what our schedule is now. And that's a hell of a story, right? But you might not have that story. Maybe your story is little Johnny was able to get braces. That's a story. That's still a story. What Avon's done for you is it's allowed you to pay cash for Johnny's braces, right? Or it's allowed you to take family vacations every year. Or how about this? It's given you free vacations every year to Hawaii or to Punta Cana or to Jamaica or all of these places where Avon sends us, cruises, right? All of these things, these are great things to be talking about. And so it's more about what benefits did you receive from Avon and what can you tell people about them, right? Maybe your business gave you your skills and makes you feel like you're contributing. Maybe you're a stay-at-home mom. Maybe you have 5 kids and you feel like all you ever do is change diapers and clean up messes. And Avon gives you a chance to use your skills and feel like you're contributing to something. I actually had a girl on my team for a while. She was a lawyer. And her husband was a top ER doctor, and they didn't need the money. But she was a stay-at-home mom, and she had given up her lawyer job to be able to be home with her kids because her husband kind of demanded it. And so Avon gave her something to make her feel like she was contributing and that she was able to use her skills. And so maybe that's what it's doing for you, right? Or maybe it's the money, right? Maybe the money is helping you. Maybe it's paying your rent, or maybe it's paying your utilities. Whatever that is, or maybe it's just allowing you to stay home with your kids. Whatever it is, that's what you should talk about. So let's see.
See, after Kathy up above, cat right there.
Okay, so
so many favorites.
Kathy has so many favorites. See, she's already talking about it. She's already talking. See, she loves the Magic's primer, loves the mask, love First Lash mascara, love the cushion makeup. Yeah, see, so those are the things you can talk about. Maria says, I just started texting this lady this evening asking how she's doing, which started the conversation. She ended up asking me about what product would work for multiple aging skin issues. See, so there you go, right? And then Kathy says, congrats, Lynn and Richard. You are a great team. I would like to know what the advantage of teaming does. My husband will help one day too. Is that info on your site too? Are you one or two separate? Kathy, we don't really have, I don't have that spelled out, but we are one team. It's one account. You can't have two accounts with Avon. They won't allow that. You have to be co-applicants on the same account. So we have the same account. We just divvy up the workload. So I do all of the computer stuff. I do all of the internet stuff, all of the Facebook and social media and all of that. I do most all the recruiting. Richard does. He sorts the orders. He delivers the orders. When we do the mall, we do breast cancer events at the mall. He's the one that chats up the customers, and he's Mr. Bubbly. So the best way to do that is if you're going to divvy up, what you do is you take your business and you go, okay, you're better at this, so you do that, and I'm better at this, so I do that, and then you're both doing things you enjoy, and that way everything gets done.
Yeah, you just complement each other that way. And I joke about it, but I always tell people that she's the brains and I'm the brawn. It's kind of what it is.
And he's the personality, and I'm the
Yeah, but the good thing is, you're wondering how it would work. The good thing is that I have deficiencies, and she pulls me out of that. She has things that she does that I don't like to do. I'm reluctant to do, but I can start doing it when she gets it going, and vice versa. So. And
then as far as planning, we kind of do that together. So I'll tell him, hey, I'm going to spend this money to do this, and mostly he just whatever I say goes. But I still run it by him because it's our business, right? I don't make all the decisions by myself, or he might have other ideas sometimes. So, but yes. So when we earn trips, is it for one? No, we work for earning trips for two.
I want her to go. I don't want her to stay home.
Yeah, right. When Avon does the trips, they set goals for one or two. So if you, like right now, to go to Hawaii, you have to increase your sales. If you're President's Club or above, you have to increase your sales. Don't quote me on the numbers. I don't have it in front of me. It's something like 15,000 for a trip for one.
16 and 23.
Okay, 16,000. You have to increase by 16,000 for a trip for one, or 23,000 for a trip for two. So when we go after these incentives, we work it for two. And then if for some reason we didn't make it for two, Avon does allow you to buy the other person in. So if it came down to that, that's what we would do. We have had to in the past. I mean, we don't always make them for two, but that's, but, and those trips are so worth it, because when you go on the Avon trips, the best of the best are the people that are there. They're the ones that have increased their sales by 16,000 or whatever the requirements are, recruited X number of people, whatever the requirements are. The best of the best are there. And you get to go and spend 4 or 5 or 6 days with the best of the best. And you make friends with these top people, and you learn from them, and they learn from you. And it's so amazing.
Yep. You learn more at lunch and dinner than you do at any event.
And it's funny because when these trips, I mean, you see people saying, here, this is the excursion I want to go on, and I want to do this and I want to do that. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm not going to Hawaii to go on excursions. I'm going to hang around the pool with Timothy Brown and with my friend Teresa Paul. We go way back, way back, before the internet was even there. And I mean, but I've become really good friends, really close friends with a lot of these people over the years, because we've all earned the trips together. And so trust me, you need to go, and you need to buy your husband in, even if you don't earn it for two. Okay, so block time in your calendar for prospecting. If you want to make it happen, it has to be scheduled, right? If you're just going to say you're going to get to it, it's not going to happen. So you've got to schedule it and stick to it. So schedule time out. When am I going to go out and meet new people? Or it could be that you're going to prospect on social media. and you're gonna and there's lots of ways to do it, and watch that In Focus webinar because they talk a lot about that too. But like you can get into groups, like I don't know if you're into a certain kind of a dog, like a what's my daughter's dog, a St. Charles Cavalier or something, specific kind of a dog. There are groups for that. And so if you're into this specific kind of a dog, you have one, maybe you're into pugs, right? And you have a dog that's a pug. You join a group of other pug owners and you're in there participating and you're talking about pugs. You're not talking about Avon. But then somebody says, oh man, I got a problem with all these what is it that the fleas or whatever they get on my dog, or whatever. And then you can say, have you heard, and they go into this in that In Focus training, you guys, you have to watch this. You have to watch that In Focus training. But they go into that. They go into how to say it so that you're not selling. You're actually building relationships. So she talked about it on that In Focus training, and she said that she mentioned in there, do you know that here's a link to the CDC. Now, Avon's listed on the CDC for bug repellents. Avon's listed like 2 or 3 times on that CDC website. So she sends them to link to the CDC, and then she gets this conversation going, and then eventually she says, oh, and I have Bug Guard. But it wasn't right out of the bat. And so again, go back and watch that In Focus training because it was amazing, you guys. All you have to do is go to Avon U, and it's right there. It's just right there. It says replay In Focus training. Go watch it. Go watch it tonight. Trust me, you want to.
Kathy's met Timothy.
So met Timothy Brown, super great, and met Molly too. Molly, I knew Molly when she very first joined Avon, and
Molly and Lee.
And Ray and Marianne Penn, they were Molly's upline, and Ray died. And I mean, I've been there for all of this, you guys, and that comes from going to events. That comes from going to Rep Fest, going to the events, meeting these people and getting to know them. And Timothy Brown, I don't know anybody that's more positive than that man at all.
He's
and
the
then she says, yes,
fleas
first. Yes, fleas for dogs. Yes, Skin So Soft works for it. Yeah, I'm not an animal lover, but my daughter is. So I'm sorry, I don't know this stuff. Thank you for that, Kathy. So yeah, so the idea though is you're not going into groups to prospect. You are, but you're not, right? You're going into the groups to be a member of the group and to participate in the group as a member of the group regarding what the subject is. When the situation comes up, then you can offer more. So then like what she said with that, she says, in the group, she says, you have to be careful about, I can't remember what she was talking about. Oh, it was mosquitoes, and it was somebody new that had moved into that area and said, should I spray my yard? And she responded with, well, you might want to be careful about that because by spraying your yard, you could hurt other things. Like my neighbor has bees. If I spray my yard, it will kill his bees. And so she says, I will send you a private message with a link to what the CDC recommends. So she didn't even talk about Avon. She sent him a link to the CDC. And she did an amazing job. And she got herself like 3 or 4 new customers from that whole thing. So you got to watch this replay, you guys. I'm sorry if I keep going on about that, but it was really good. Okay, number 3, set easy goals you can achieve. If you're terrified and you're just getting started, now easy goals is not going to get you to your end result. If you're trying to get on the cruise, if you're trying to get on the trip to Hawaii, easy goals isn't going to get you there. But if you're trying to get over your fear of prospecting, that's what I'm talking about, easy goals, okay? So if you're afraid of picking up the phone or you're afraid of asking somebody, then just set a goal for today to just make 1 call or just talk to 1 person. Right? Tomorrow you can raise the goal to 2, and then you keep the process going. Bottom line is, I really strongly recommend that you set a goal for 3 to 5 people a day, that you're getting their names, 3 to 5 a day, every single day, because that's how you're going to grow. That's how you're going to earn incentives. That's how you're going to grow your business. That's how you're going to make more money. But if you're just getting started and you're afraid to talk to somebody, if you can at least talk to 1 person, you did it, right? You can check that off. I did it. I did it. Yay. And then move on to the next one, right? So tomorrow you talk to 2.
We've done a talk about this, and it's short-term versus long-term goals. The long-term goal in this case would be the Hawaii trip. That would be the big goal that you want to shoot for. But how do you get there? You make it a short-term goal. You chunk it down, you break it down, reverse engineer it. And if I need $10,000 in sales in 10 campaigns, then you break it down to how many thousands of dollars. You need $1,000 per campaign, and then you break it down to how much per day. And then that breaks down to how many books do I need to buy. She has a blog about this, but how many books you need to buy, how many people you might need to talk to. It's just breaking it, chunking it down into small bite-sized pieces to make the big goal attainable.
Yeah. Okay. Then number 4, remember it's not about you. When you're talking to someone, remember that it's about that person, not you. So how can you benefit them? How can you be of help to them? So lead off with questions, because your objective is to have a discussion so that you can learn more about them and what they need, and then to see if you have something you can have that you can help them with. So also know that as you go about your day, there will be somebody you talk to each day who you know you'll be able to help. You know, you might talk to 100 people in a day and you might not be able to help them, but there should be at least 1 or 2 or maybe 10% of the people you talk to that you'll be able to help. And so understand that even if it's just one person, that one person is out there and they're waiting to hear from you. And don't take it away from them. If you're afraid, what you're doing is you're putting it on them, and you're taking the opportunity away from them. So you might be talking to somebody who really looks put together and has her 2 kids in the cart at the grocery store, and she looks really put together, and you might be afraid, intimidated or something, and you might think, oh, she doesn't need the Avon opportunity, and you might not offer it to her. But what you might not know is she might have just lost her job over COVID, and she's getting food from the food bank, and she doesn't know what she's going to do to pay her rent. You don't know. You don't know. And so by you not offering it to them, you're taking the choice away from them. You're making that choice for them. Is that fair? That's not fair. So it's just a matter of asking the question. It's not begging them. It's not trying to talk them into it. It's just asking the question. Have you ever thought about making some extra money with Avon? Or did you know that you could make $3,000 in your first couple of months with Avon? Could that be something that would benefit you? And just ask the question. And if they say no, then you just transition to the next part of your conversation. And that's it. It's just asking the question, right? And it's about, even if it's just that one person out of all the people you talk to, right? If you at least talk to all the people, then that one person might be just the one who needed to hear it. And so don't give up on the idea that particular contact, every person you talk to is going to make you or break you. That's why in the beginning, we want you to have a big list of 200 names or more, so that you're not hanging on every single person that you contact that's going to make you or break you, because it's not. It doesn't even matter. The person you're talking to, it doesn't even matter if they say yes or no. What matters is that you ask them. That's all that matters, is that you ask them. And if you ask enough people, you will get enough yeses.
Yeah, that's key. When we first started out, we kind of had, at least I had that idea in mind. We go out and I only had 2 or 3 people to talk to. And when I got a no, it was devastating. But then we started making our list bigger. We go out and say, well, we're going to talk to 10 people or 20 people. And when I get one no, it wasn't that big of an impact. So it really, it's a mind game you play with yourself. But
and
it works.
When you get that no, you're just going, okay, I need to get to the next one so I can get a yes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So next one, don't expect overnight results. So prospecting takes time, and it's probably going to take you more time than you expected. You know, one of my mentors, Tina, her name's Tina, and she's amazing. But she once told me, and I know she didn't, this wasn't originally hers, but she told me most people overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year and underestimate what they can accomplish in 5 years. And she was so right. And you don't know that until you've been in business 5 years or 10 years, and you start to see it. So in the beginning, it seems like you're never going to get there. In the beginning, you're just trying to, especially like if you're recruiting, you're trying to get to get to gold ambassador, you know, and it just seems like you're never going to get there, or bronze leader, you're never going to get there. And but if you keep working and you keep prospecting for new people every day, in 5 years, you won't even recognize your business. In 5 years, if you're prospecting every day, if you seriously talk to 3 to 5 people every single day and you do what I'm asking you to do, in 5 years, Avon's going to be asking you to be teaching me in focus classes, because you aren't going to recognize your business. And the majority of the people that are in your business that make your business hugely successful are people you haven't even met yet. You haven't met them yet. You have to get out there and meet them. And so when you look back at 5 years from now, you look back at your business, you won't believe how far you've come. And so it can, and it will take more time than you think to fill the funnel. It's like a funnel, like a pancake funnel, you know. You got to be constantly putting people in. The funnel's big at the top, so you put lots and lots of people in, but it's real small at the bottom, so only a couple come out, right? And so you just got to keep filling that funnel, and they'll come out. But the key is to stay on top of it, stay on the follow-ups. We teach in here at Prospecting how to follow up on leads. You can search for leads in the search bar. Follow up with leads or whatever, because we teach don't quit following up with them until they either die or tell you to leave them alone or tell you that they're not interested. I've had people that I have followed up with, and it's not like I'm bugging them. It starts out like you call, text, and email them, and then 2 days later you text them, and then 3 days after that you email them, and then it becomes once a week, and then once every 2 weeks, and ultimately you're only touching base with them once a month. But I have stayed in contact with people, and they've signed up after 3 years of being on my list. Then all of a sudden they sign up. And that's where they're coming out the bottom of the funnel. They're just up in there, and they're just moving around in that funnel. And then 3 years later, they come out the bottom. And I get people saying to me all the time, how is it you're signing up so many people? They are people that have been in my follow-ups for years. You just got to keep doing it, right?
Yeah, life changes.
Hi, Mavis. Good to see you. Okay, now number 6, don't hang around negative people, right? The people that's throwing back their head and laughing at you, you don't need those. You don't need those, right? When you're prospecting, you need positive voices. That's another reason why you need to earn the Avon trips, because that's what you're going to get. You're going to get people who value you as a representative and who value what you do, and who are equal to you. They think that you're great and you think they're great, and you're supporting each other. We ultimately support each other. I really believe, and that's why I put my trainings out for everybody, and this website, Online Beauty Biz, is for everybody, because I really believe that if we all work together, we can do amazing things. And Avon is just growing. Avon is just really just beginning to come out of all the struggles they had, and we're in the right place at the right time right now. I'm really excited. So go find successful people to connect with, right? Because just being around them, you're going to think differently just by being around them. And when I started doing that, hanging out with more successful people, amazing thing happened. I suddenly found myself thinking differently, and more importantly, acting differently. And it was all due to my mindset. And like I said, this is why you want to earn the trip incentives, because those are the top. The trip earners are the top, the best of the best, and they're the ones you want to hang around with. Number 7, celebrate success every day. Regardless of how poor that day went, there's always something that was good, something in your terrible, sucky day, something was right. Figure out what it was, right? And because there's always something. Or at the end of the day, think about the best thing that happened and use that as a way to prepare you for tomorrow. And if you really can't find something good, then make a plan to ensure that tomorrow is going to be great. And Kathy says, I really appreciate you doing this training. And yes, Avon is at the beginning of their social selling. I'm glad I'm in it this time. 2.5 years for me. Yay. Cool. Well, and I think, LG purchased Avon, and we've gone through a lot of changes. Before LG purchased Avon, we went through some changes, and Avon was kind of going downhill. They were struggling. And then LG purchased us, and we've gone through a lot of changes, and none of us like change. And so you hear a lot of complaints. You hear other reps complaining. But you know what? I mean, we have innovative products. We have cutting edge. We are doing everything that we need to be doing to just be growing. And I just really think that you're right, Kathy. We're in the right place at the right time, and this is just taking off. And I'm excited. I mean, look at our lip. We were, Avon's always been cutting edge. We were the first company to bring retinol to market in a product that could be used on your face, right? And that was new. And we were the first ones. We are the ones that come up with the technology, and then other companies follow, right? Right now, we are the only company in the United States that has a bioretinol in our lipstick. There's no other company in the United States that has that. And our bioretinol is plant-based. It's good for you. So, I mean, this is cutting-edge stuff. You guys, this is exciting stuff. So, Atlanta says, I agree. Yeah, awesome. Woohoo. Okay, so set goals, right? Set a goal that you're going to talk to X number of people. Set a goal that you're going to get 3 names a day, right? Or 5 names a day. In the Intune training, they really pushed 5 by 5 by 5. So 5 people, 5 days a week. Can't remember exactly what it was. Talk to 5 people, 5 days a week for 5 weeks or something. But they did that. They did 5 by 5. But at least set a goal that you're going to get 3 names a day, right? If that's too much for you, or maybe you don't have enough time, maybe you're working a full-time job along with this, then make it 2. The key is that you do it every single day without fail. Even if it's only 1, the key is that you don't miss a day. You do it every single day. And that's what's going to bring you the results. It's the consistency that's going to bring you the results. So if you set a goal for 3 new people a day, some of them are going to come in as representatives, very few of them, out of the people you talk to. But you still will get a lot of representatives if you do this, because 3 people a day times 5 days is 15 people. Then the next week, that's 15 more, so now you have 30. The next week is 15 more, so now you have 45. So you're literally bringing a lot of people that you're talking to. So some of them will join you and sell Avon, and some of them will come in as customers, and you just keep growing your customer base, and your sales will go up and up and up and up, and you'll get there. You'll get there. And so it's all about being consistent. So set those goals, and maybe you're prospecting on Facebook or other social media, and you're making connections and meeting new people. Maybe you're going out and talking to people as you go about your day. But the key is that you make the commitment that you won't go to bed until you've met your goal for that day. So let's see. Kathy says, yes, retinol. And we're the only ones with bioretinol in the lipstick, plant-based. Yes, yes, yes. So Kathy's excited. But you guys, it's true. It's true. Avon is cutting edge. It's the funniest thing. Every time Avon launches a new product, it cracks me up, because a month later you start to see Oil of Olay and Clinique and all these other companies advertising what we launched a month earlier.
Yeah.
So
and they put it in a gold jar and sell it for $300.
Yeah.
Same stuff.
Yeah. So remember that tomorrow begins today. Never end the day without finalizing the list of what you're going to be doing tomorrow, who you're going to be prospecting, or how you're going to go out and meet new people. And then this one's really important, number 10. Never forget that you're doing what most people won't even try, and that makes you special. You're on this webinar. You're on this Facebook Live with us. You're doing something that the majority of reps are not doing. They're not showing up, right? You're achieving success far beyond what other people are viewing as not possible. I get reps all the time. I have reps on my team that complain, I don't know what to do. I don't have any brochures. I can't afford brochures. I can't do this. I can't do that. But yet they're not on the trainings, and you're on the training. So you're doing, and you're going to achieve so much more than what 90% of the other Avon reps are doing, because you're here and you're doing it. So be proud of yourself, because you're doing what it takes that will take you to wherever you want to go. Just make sure you go watch that Intune.
Yes.
And Avon's probably going to love the fact that I'm promoting it, but it was so good, you guys. It was so good. And they're just real people, just like us. And they talked about what they did and what helps them. And so you've got to do it. And there's so many nuggets. You're going to be taking notes like crazy. Mm-hmm. So did you see anything on this list that we talked about tonight that you can't do? None of it's real hard, right? None of it was a big deal, right? It's not just possible, it's totally doable. So just make up your mind to do it. And then believe in yourself at a level that you haven't been doing previously. Just believe in yourself and make it happen. You've got this. I mean, every one of you can be on this trip to Hawaii if you choose to. If you choose to, you still have time. You just have to figure out what it's going to take and then make it happen. Okay, so let me go back. That's all I have for you today, but I want a couple of things I want to touch on. So if we go to the search up here and we search for automate, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here about automating. But this one right here, automate your follow-ups to give yourself more time to build your business. This one talks about how, and there's a whole video live on there, talks about how we automate our business. We use Campaign Mailer to mail brochures. We use a company called Dial My Calls to call the little old ladies that don't have landlines, that just have landlines, that don't have cell phones. It's a pre-recorded message. And we use Project Broadcast to text them. I literally schedule them. In fact, I scheduled them Friday. They're going to be going out for me on Monday morning. I schedule them. It takes literally 1 minute to schedule them. And like that, my sales increased because I did that. right? So this walks you through all of that, okay? Another one is follow up. I think I tried leads. Let me try leads. I can't remember. Yeah, okay. How to follow up work and convert your Avon prospect leads. So however you get your leads, whether you meet them at a show, they filled out a form, breast cancer table, whether you talk to them in the store or whatever, if I get their information and they say that they are interested in learning more about selling Avon, this is how I follow up with them. I walk you through this in a video here, and I literally teach you what I say, what I do, what I email them, what I text them. I give you all of my scripts. It's all here. Okay? So you literally can search for whatever you want in here. And even when I did the automate, if I go back a little bit, and I did the automate, there was in here like how to manage your Avon customers and automated systems. Because if you're adding 15 people every single week, eventually you're going to be mailing, if you're mailing brochures, eventually you're going to be mailing thousands of brochures, and you really can't afford to do that. And it's not cost effective because they're not ordering. And so I talk in here about how I decide who gets a book in the mail and how long I send them books in the mail. And then if they don't order, I move them over to my text list. So I don't ever quit following up with them, but they have to place an order at least once every 4 months in order to stay on my mail list to get them in the mail, because it costs money, right? So I teach you how to do that in here. So that's what I have. That's all I have.
This is all stuff that you can do as passive learning. During the active stuff, you want to be out during the daytime, like we said before, getting recruits and that. But at 6 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock at night, whenever it's slow, your family finally goes to bed or whatever, and you have some quiet time, you can spend an hour on the computer and go through these and chunk them down, break them down so you understand them and implement them.
Yeah. And
Kathy says,
I'm patting myself on the back. You guys should all be patting yourself on the back because you're here. And some of you I see here week after week after week. So pat yourself on the back because you're doing it. You're doing it. Work the daily 8. Pat yourself on the back for working the daily 8. The key is just doing the activity daily and sticking with it daily. And she says, I can do it. And thanks for the vote of confidence. And that automate tip will help me a lot.
Great.
So thank you, Kathy. The automate tip is so powerful. I don't want to go too much into it because we've done a lot of training on that already. But the thing is those are tasks that, like, if you literally text every customer, you have 200 customers or potential customers, and you text every one of them, that could take you hours. And are you really going to get through that? Are you really going to text every one of them? So doing it, and the project broadcast just costs 2 cents a text. So it's worth it to free up your time, right? And mailing the brochures is worth it to free up your time. And then you can use your time to prospect. Then you can, because those things are like administrative tasks that you can use with our automation that we teach. Now, hey, well, 2 things. Number one, you can start the automation small. So if you only have 5 customers, you can start it with 5 and it will grow with you. Okay, number one. So you can start small and it will grow with you as you grow. Number 2, if you really don't have the money to do that, I have reps, some that have started selling Avon that really don't have even the money for brochures at all. They're desperate for money for food on the table. Then, get your kids to do some of these things for you. But the idea is delegate it. Get it off of your back. Some of the automated stuff, they can copy and paste a text message, maybe if you teach them how, if they're old enough or whatever. And then that frees you up to get more time. And if you really don't have the money for brochures, then work the digital brochure. Mm-hmm. And up in the getting started at the top of that website is a link about how to share your digital brochure. We have 2 different brochures and it walks you through that. So, so Kathy says, free up time. I agree. I don't want to text for hours. Well, and how likely are you going to? These systems, by having these systems in place, my mom's last year of her life, she was really sick and really in and out of the hospital, and I was with her a lot, and Richard and I both were at the hospital with her, and my business never missed a beat because it was all automated. You have to schedule them every campaign, but it literally just takes you a minute to schedule it once you have it set up. And so my business never missed a beat. There was another time we went on a cruise with a bunch of our friends for 2 weeks to Hawaii, left from LA and went all the way across the ocean around Hawaii and back. And during that time, most of my customers didn't even know we were out of town because we did it all through automation. We scheduled the follow-ups. We scheduled the brochures to go out. I used the Wi-Fi on the ship to take their orders and confirm them, right? Or we called them. We picked up voicemail. You can use that through Wi-Fi now. Yeah. We picked up our voicemail, and so we confirmed the orders back. They didn't even know we were on a ship. They didn't even know we were gone. So this is what I'm talking about. If you do this right, you can free up your time, you can grow your business, and you can still build a huge business and make money. Okay, so that's what I have. We've gone over an hour. I hate to go that long. So thank you guys for being here. Next Sunday is Easter, so we will be dark. We will not be here next Sunday, so look for us the next Sunday after that, which will be April 11th. Tomorrow, there's a blog post going out, those of you that are on my email list, about 100 no's, so it'll fit right in with what we just talked about tonight. And there's a form that you can download tomorrow. Watch for that post. That'll go out about midnight tonight. You'll get an email. So anyway, thank you for being here. Do you have any last minute?
No, we've got enough goodies out there, enough gems for them to mull over and train on, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. See you in 2 weeks. Have an amazing Easter. Have a great night.
Have a great week and happy Easter.
And we will see you online. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.